Kellen here from SkilledHub.com. As mentioned in our previous videos, we wanted to put together some answers to your questions. Over the last couple of months, we've been receiving all kinds of questions from homeowners, ranging from anything about popular DIY projects, simple renos, things to contact a professional on, how to hire a professional, and then even to what are some tips and tricks that new homeowners should know. Well, in today's video, I'm going to go through some tips for new homeowners. Well, as I mentioned, in today's video, I'm going to go through some tips for new homeowners. It's a big question we've been getting for quite some time. Many homeowners are asking us, what are some things that new homeowners should know when buying a house? Buying a house is a big step, a big purchase, and for many, one of the biggest investments that they'll ever make in their life. So, in today's video, I'm going to give you some tips that every new homeowner should know. Many of the people who've been asking this question are people that are maybe very new to new home ownership, lived in condos forever, never owned a home with a backyard, never had to experience the idea of a flood or any of these types of items that hopefully no homeowner ever does and ever will experience, but it's always better to be prepared. So, first thing I wanted to mention is you've bought a new house. Congratulations. That's awesome. Very exciting. You got the keys in your hand. You open that front door. What do you do next? Well, one thing to do right away is really to take a walk around. Really take in your new purchase. Look at your house. Go around the house. Look at all the windows. Look at all the doors. Maybe try to go into the attic. Do you even know how to get into your attic? Look at maybe going in the basement. Do you have a crawl space? Go into all the areas in the house to really take a good look at everything and take stock. Take a look at, if things need to be replaced. Is there something here that looks dirty, that looks like it may need to get replaced? Is there a leak? Is there anything like that? It's a really good idea, especially when there's no furniture in the house, to have a really good look at everything and take a really good picture of maybe potential renovation projects, maybe some maintenance things that need to be done. Maybe go on top of the roof and take a look at the roof to make sure the shingles look good. Things to keep in mind. Of course, in many cases, we'll hire a building inspector when they're purchasing a house. But it's always good to have a second pair of eyes, especially your own on there, to make sure you understand how the house is. So that's the first thing. Go around the house. Look at everything. Take it all in. Enjoy. It's your house now. The next big thing that we hear from contractors is that they get called in a lot of times by new homeowners to replace all of the locks. Something to keep in mind. Again, at the end of the day, hopefully the property owner has given you all the keys, but you never know. Something might have gotten lost. Maybe they've given a key to their neighbor to check on it, from different times. Things to keep in mind. It's a common thing that many new homeowners do is get all their locks replaced in their house. The other thing to do is maybe to rekey some of your garage door codes, gate codes, anything like that is also a very popular thing from speaking with many of our professionals. The one thing also to look for, and it's funny, just the other day I was talking with a homeowner and they were actually in their garden going through and accessing, moving around different things and found a couple of rocks in their garden and noticed one was a fake rock and it actually had a key inside. And what's the most funniest thing is this didn't even belong to the previous homeowner. It was even older. So things to keep in mind too. Maybe as you're doing your walkabout and looking at your property, take a look to see if there's any spare keys or fake rocks anywhere, just to make sure that you've analyzed everything. The next big thing, now you've done your walk around, you've kind of replaced some of the locks and things, is to start going through some of the items for like the fire alarms, looking at your carbon monoxide, alarms as well, going through there, making sure that they're working properly, maybe putting a new battery in, things like that. It's the anniversary of your new house. Why not replace the batteries at the same time? The other thing to do is maybe look to see if there's a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. Make sure that if there is, it's working, or if it's in close vicinity of the kitchen, if anything ever happens. Of course, we're all amazing cooks and never have to worry about that, but you never know. Kind of along the same lines as that is looking at being prepared for any type of emergency. Again, house purchase is a big investment. It's important to make sure that you understand and are able to contact the proper services if anything should happen. Knock on wood, let's hope nothing ever does, but it's always better to be prepared now than scrambling later through your phone or trying to analyze who do I call, what do I do if anything does happen. So, with that, it's a good idea to make sure you have all the contact numbers for your emergency services. Many of us know 911, but also look at the other options too for non-emergency lines. You never know if you may have to contact the fire department, paramedic services, or their police. The other thing to look at is utilities. Now, when I'm talking about utilities, I'm talking about your water, if you have a water hookup to city water or town water. Potentially looking at your gas line, gas company, who's the person to contact if there's a gas leak. They might have an emergency line and a main line. It's best to get the emergency line and the main line for any reason, just in case, something does happen. Maybe you need to contact them for a non-emergency issue. Why not get all the information right now? So make sure to get all of the contact information for emergency services and then all of your utilities, including water, gas, hydro, looking at potentially if you have a hot water rental as well, making sure you have all of that contact information, both emergency and non-emergency numbers. Now that you've got all your utility companies, you have that list, make sure you put that list for emergency services as well as utility companies in a safe spot that you know where to go to if in fact you ever have to use it. Now, along these same lines of being prepared for emergencies, it's really important to know where all of the shutoffs are. Make sure you know where the gas shutoff is. Make sure you know where the main water line shutoff is. Make sure to also know where your electrical or circuit box is located at the house, if in fact any breakers blow or things like that. It's good to have an idea of where these main things are if in fact you have to shut things off. Again, as always, make sure if you feel uncomfortable to contact a professional and they'd be happy to help you. So now that you've kind of done all of the emergency preparedness, you've done your walkabout, now it's time to look at some other little maintenance things. In many houses, looking at the filters is a big thing as well. So in many of your appliances, they will have filters such as fridges if they have a water dispenser, looking at your dishwasher, your washer and dryer. Many of these appliances may have filters that may need to be cleaned or changed out. Take a look and make sure you get them. If you don't know where to go, contact a professional to help you to access those filters and replace them. The other filter that's a really important one to take a look at is in your HVAC system. The funniest thing was, I was talking with the contractor the other day. They were out to a property because their air was not coming out of their central air system. They wanted to see what was wrong. At the end of the day, after the contractor did all of their analysis and review, they found out that all that needed to be replaced was the filter. It was just covered in dust and hair and grime and all kinds of stuff. Something to take a look at because it'll make sure that your HVAC system is working at 100% capacity, as well as it's a safety thing as well. So making sure that you check all of your filters, again, in your appliances, in your actual HVAC system as well. And again, if you have any concerns or questions, always feel free to contact a professional. Use SkilledHub's task portal and you can contact a professional and they'll get back to you right away. Now we've kind of talked about some of those big maintenance things. You've done your walkabout, now the fun. Looking at that renovation type stuff. Oh, wait, before we get into renovations, because it can get so costly, the other big thing to keep in mind is maintenance. Proper home maintenance is key to ensuring the longevity of the home, as well as making sure those big problems don't be super costly. If you take advantage of doing maintenance now, it'll make sure that if anything happens in the future, it'll hopefully be prepared for it and will hopefully ward off those big expenses. So one thing I'm telling homeowners to do, and it's a pretty common thing that many of our contractors and many of our realtor partners tell us, is going through the house and creating a maintenance plan. So looking at, again, When you did your walkabout, did you notice anything that may need to be replaced? Potentially when you're up on the roof looking at your shingles, maybe that needs to be put in the game plan. Before you go down the road of renovations and enhancements and things, it's good to have a good idea of what it's going to cost for these types of maintenance services. Again, looking at replacing windows, looking at replacing window sills, looking at the underneath doors, making sure again that all of these maintenance activities are taken care of before getting into those big renovation projects. But the renovation projects are so exciting. The idea of a grand kitchen, adding some new cabinets, new appliances, maybe even a bathroom reno or two. So make sure that you do all of those items first, look at your maintenance, but then get into the renovations. Now, one thing to keep in mind with renovations is the cost can get quite high very quickly. So again, it's important to have a good idea at what type of reno projects you want to get into. You've just bought the house, you want to enjoy it, so you don't necessarily have to do everything all at once. But make sure to check out SkilledHub.com and use our task portal if you're looking at getting any renovation projects done. Also, if you're looking for any decorating ideas or looking to contact an interior decorator or some sort of pro to help around your house, make sure to check out SkilledHub.com. And lastly, again, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.